Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get Out and Explore with John. Today I'm in Helena, Montana, and I'm going to be exploring one of the oldest, if not the oldest, sections of the original town, Reeder's Alley. Before the town of Helena was founded, there was a small miners' camp known as Last Chance Gulch, which was first settled in 1864. It received that name from a vote by a group of men known as the Four Georgians, who later struck it rich by mining over $19 million worth of gold out of the nearby mines. Located at the base of Mount Helena on the southwest corner of downtown Helena, the capital of Montana, is an area known as Reeder's Alley. It is the oldest intact settlement in the area that ultimately became the city of Helena. It is named after Lewis Reeder, a brick mason from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Reeder arrived in the area of Helena around 1867. One of his first commissioned projects was the construction of the first Clark County Courthouse. The Pioneer Cabin, which sits adjacent to the entrance of Reeder's Alley, is the oldest documented dwelling in Helena, and the only documented miner's cabin to be built during the first few months after the discovery of gold. The back room of the cabin is the original structure that was built by an Indiana gold miner named Wilson Butts, who arrived with the first wave of miners in 1864. He was a nearby Bannock when gold was discovered in Helena, so he was in the perfect position to come try his luck at Last Chance. I think the original cabin was a one-room cabin, and I think it was added on at some point. Pretty good condition for 1864. Guess this is where they got their water from. Let's head on in and see what's on the inside. Guess this would have been the original one-room log cabin. Space over there for a bed, table, and the front door. Looks like all of the furniture in there might be original. That's pretty old. The rear room here looks like it's going to be the kitchen and dining room area. But pretty fancy for 1864 in the hills of Montana, when this was still just a territory. Now that we've seen the Pioneer Cabin, let's go in and check out Reeder's Alley and see what we can find in there. After completing the courthouse project and spending some time in the area, Reeder recognized the need for low-cost housing for the mostly single men working in the gulch. So he started saving his money and began buying up lots on Cutler Street between 1872 and 1884. The brick buildings that we see here to the left are what remains of the 32 quaint, tiny one-room tenements that Reeder built for the miners, with no indoor plumbing along the alley that once housed many of the local miners in tents and rudimentary log cabins. Unfortunately, less than half remain today. They were a comfortable alternative to the lean-to tents and rudimentary and fire-prone cabins that housed the miners. As with most services of the day, rent was paid in gold dust. By the time of his death in 1884, the area had become known as Reeder's Alley. Another prominent landmark is the Morelli Bridge on the north side of Reader's Alley, just up this hill, so let's go check that out. Check this out, one of the locals getting a Sunday morning brunch.
Hey, buddy. Getting some breakfast there? Okay.
The area above Reader's Alley was undeveloped and virtually inaccessible. The city gave in to local pressure in the 1890s and began construction of this bridge. However, the cost of the bridge exceeded the funds and the bridge remained unfinished. When work resumed in 1893, the 96-foot-long bridge was completed by Swiss stonemason Carlo Morelli. It is the oldest timber bridge still in use in Montana. Well, look who we came across again. I guess breakfast is over. Well, I guess Reader's Alley is even popular with the locals. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention, the buildings in Reader's Alley were added and designated as a historic district, listed in the National Register of Historic Places with the National Park Service in the year 2000. Well, I guess experiencing things like this just is another great example of why it pays to get up early and get out and explore. I guess breakfast wasn't over after all. Today, Reader's Alley is home to a caterer, a number of offices and nonprofit organizations, and Visit Helena, Montana, whom I contacted prior to my visit. They were very helpful with information about the area and also sent me some brochures and maps that ended up being very helpful when I got out of the city and couldn't rely on my GPS. It sure was nice for someone to plant all these flowers around Reader's Alley. The locals really seem to enjoy them. While I did get sidetracked by this incredible encounter, I did want to share with you that there are a number of plaques detailing some of the buildings and the history associated with each, which helps in the context of what you are seeing. I strongly encourage you to take the time to visit Reader's Alley and to read the information placards that are scattered throughout. I know this is a little different than the other videos that I've put out, but I hope that you all enjoyed watching and maybe learned a little thing about Reader's Alley. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for coming along, and like I always say, you never know what you're going to see when you get out and explore with John.